You have probably seen hundreds of roadmaps of HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and you wanted to start HTML, not just HTML, but web development. Within 10 to 15 minutes, you will feel lost because there are so many tools, there are so many technologies in web dev. Web dev is like a deep ocean. No matter how deep you go in, you feel like it's never ending. And you'll feel lost that where do I even begin with? So, in this video, I'm going to give you a complete roadmap which you need, right? Whether you are a beginner or whether you are someone who is a relatively good at web development and want to pivot into different technologies, this is for you, right? And I will share key what are the things which I did and how I learned web development, what is the process which I followed to build real world applications and helped hundreds of students through my products and my platforms, right? So with that being said, let us see the complete roadmap of a real developer. Okay, before we jump into the steps and the roadmap of development, I want to tell you something that many students nowadays is having a perception that web development is completely dead. It is a field where we don't have much of scope. No one is gonna sit and write code because everything is done through LLMs, everything is done through ChatGPT. But you need to understand that web development is everywhere, right? Web development is everywhere. Basically, web is everywhere. Whenever you're browsing an app, whenever you're using ChatGPT, whenever you're using Claude or whatever the AI platform you're gonna use, right? It's a website at the end, right? If you're using it in your computer, if you're using it in a mobile, it's an app, right? It's a mobile application. Mobile application is nothing but little advanced version of web. That's it. So everything you see is web development. And when I say that, yeah, I agree, completely agree that LLM tools has the power to build hundreds of lines of code, thousands of lines of code, and they will help you. Believe me when I say that, I will fasten your development process by 10x. Even though you don't know any code, you can build real-time applications. But in this case, if LLM is doing all the work, if everything is performed through agentic processes, then what's the need of learning web development? You might ask this. For that, my answer is web development is like a fundamental block which you have to learn to understand tech. Without understanding web development, you will never ever understand how an app is working. You will never ever understand how lang chains are working. You should at least it's like a minimum criteria that everyone should possess, should have. For example, as we are Indian students, I want to draw parallel to physics. Now you might have learned kinematics, dynamics, electromagnetism in your school, right? But are you using it in your real world? No. Then what's the point of reading and understanding those equations? The answer is the world which we are seeing right now. Right now I'm shooting it in my computer, in my laptop, and I'm having a phone in front of me, a book in front of me, light is there, electromagnetism is working everywhere. So you need to understand that this entire things will not be there if they were not if electromagnetism was not there. So electromagnetism is like, they are not just electromagnetism, physics and everything is like the foundation for sciences. On top of that, technology is built. Similarly, in understanding how technology works, in order to have a real-time understanding of how tech works, web development is like a fundamental block which helps you in having a clear understanding, right? And after you have a clear picture of how web dev work, you can go into different things. Like if you are interested in AI, you can go into that, and when you go into that, you will see key how things are working. If you directly go into AI, you will get confused. What is a API? What is JWT token? How to use a API? What is LLM? What is LangChain? What is this Java code? What is this JavaScript code? You will get confused. So the answer is, even though everything is generated through code, everything is generated through LLM. Your code, thousands of lines of code is generated through LLMs, but you should have at least an understanding, right, which line is doing what, or else you'll just be a blind man doing just blind things, right? So yeah, it's really important to have a understanding. Now in this roadmap, what we are gonna do is that I will give you a complete roadmap for front end and for backend. And don't worry, whatever the things I'm gonna do it now, whatever the things I'm gonna tell you in this roadmap, we are going to cover this in our upcoming lectures. I'm going to create a complete web development course in our channel for free, no need to pay or anything like that. Top high quality content for free, you're gonna see within next few weeks, hopefully. So the very first step is HTML. Let me write it: HTML plus CSS. And you will get a crash course on HTML plus CSS in next week, hopefully. If I'm uploading this video on Wednesday, next week Wednesday, right after next week, you will get a video of HTML CSS crash course combined. I will explain you how these things work and everything. Okay, so this is the thing, this is the first thing you should learn, and this is where beginners make mistake. Like most people, beginners start here, right? Beginners will start here and they'll stop here as well, and they'll tell no, there's no scope in web development. Web development is really best, because they don't know what is web development, they don't know what is JavaScript, how JavaScript works, right? So learning HTML and CSS is not web development, you need to understand that. Okay, so after learning HTML and CSS, what you should do is that right away I will tell you ki build a portfolio site, simple portfolio, no need to make it work or anything, just write portfolio, just build portfolio site, right? This will be your mini project one. This is our mini project one. Now after completing this, after completing mini project one, I'll tell you ki right away go to JavaScript. So this is JavaScript. Let me remove it. I need arrow, not line. So arrow. Let me draw. I'm really bad at this, right? I call myself a technologist, but I'm bad with this. Okay, so JavaScript. JavaScript is where real web development starts. Okay, so after learning JavaScript, whatever the portfolio site you have created, right? So try to make it more dynamic. So we'll make our portfolio site dynamic, and this will be our mini project 2. Okay, this will be our mini project 2. Now JavaScript is like a block. After having proper understanding, now people spend months in this, right? After having a proper understanding of this JavaScript, I will tell you that if you are interested in front end, you should right away go to React. You will go right away to React. But there are two parts of JavaScript. One is programming part, through which you will go into JavaScript DSA. We are not gonna go into that part. We are already doing DSA with Java. We are not gonna touch DSA with JavaScript. Okay, but what we will do is that we will see little nuances of programming and the development part related to JavaScript. Now after completing that, we'll directly come to React. We'll learn React right away, React.js. Okay, so React.js is where you will build a production level high quality code front end applications. So React is a framework of JavaScript which is used to build UIs. Okay, in this in here we will learn, here we will learn we'll learn about what are components, hooks, props. We will learn about routing. We'll learn different things, right? So this will be our part 3. Part 1 is HTML, CSS. Part 2 is JavaScript. Part 3 will be React. Now after completing React, I will tell you ki you should learn, let me draw a single line. So you should learn some basic CSS frameworks like Tailwind or Bootstrap. I would say ki learn Bootstrap, right? Bootstrap is very simple. Tailwind I would say ki if you want to go with Tailwind, you should have a little understanding of backend. So Tailwind is optional. Tailwind is optional, but learn Bootstrap. Okay, this is optional. Okay, so what are Tailwind and Bootstrap is that these are the frameworks of CSS. Like instead of creating our styling from scratch, what we'll do is that we use some pre-built classes, and through this pre-built classes we will use the inbuilt, or you can say class oriented styling. Okay, now after completing this, I would suggest you to go to some more React based application like Vue.js is good, and this is Vue.js. It's like some the upgraded version of React.js, you can say it, or else it is something which you will understand after you learn React. Vue.js is also used the same way we use React. It is also used to build UIs. Okay, so here Vue.js is used to build UI application, and this is very simple. Now after that, I would say learn Next.js. Next.js is something which is used to build full stack applications, right? So you should have a little backend understanding. So here I will write, let me write it here, backend understanding. So here after completing backend, you should come here. Here I will write in parenthesis after backend. Let me write it here. I know I'm going little slow right now, but you need to understand key after completing HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and if I want to go front end, so I will come to React, and after completing React, I will study Bootstrap, Tailwind, CSS, and then come to Vue.js or Next.js. But I would suggest you key if you want to go into Next.js part, Next.js is for full stack applications, not for UI applications. You can build the backend and front end at the same time using Next.js, but so you better learn it after backend. Now similarly, we have another application which is Astro. Astro is also like a framework of JavaScript itself. So I would suggest that after like learning React now, you should see these three things, whatever you are interested. If you are interested in Next.js, go to that. If you are interested in Vue, go to Vue. If you are interested in Astro, Astro is also same. Okay, now Astro is much efficient for SEO optimization. This is the advantage of Astro. It is very optimized for SEO. Okay, so yeah, based on your needs, if you want to build some applications which should rank on Google, then you should go with Astro. Okay, but the concept which we are gonna use in React now, those concepts will directly replicate in these three. Okay, so let me draw this line as well here. Yeah, and I will draw my arrow here. Okay, got it. So let me extend this little line and drag this here. Okay, now these are the like front end part. This is this entirety, I would say, front end part. Okay, this is our, let me write here, front end. This front end is good enough. You don't have to learn much of it, right? So I'll just put it here. Let me remove it and write some text here. Front end. Okay, and I'll put it here. So this is our front end. I hope you have understood key how front end works. Now the next part is backend. We want to be a full stack developer, not UI developer, right? So the next part would be right away after completing this. If you want to go just into backend, I would say key learn Node.js. Node.js is basically a runtime environment of JavaScript. For example, in my first lecture, which I have uploaded on Monday, I have shown you key to run a Java file, we need an environment, and that environment is Java development kit. Similarly, to run JavaScript, we use a virtual environment. We use an environment where we run our JavaScript, and that environment is Node.js. Okay, now after learning Node.js, how Node.js work, how to install it, how to use it, right? They are basic like packages based on Node.js, which are npm packages, right? React is a npm package, Node package. So these are the things. We'll talk about what is npm and all those sort of things in future classes, but for now, after completing Node, backend is basically few things. Backend is routing, backend is database storing, databases, backend is authentication, right? These are the fundamental blocks of backend, and for each fundamental block we have different technology. For example, to understand routing, what is routing and all those sort of things, right? So let me go to uh, Google or else Amazon would be good. So here I have amazon.in. Now when I click enter, now you will see I have entered into amazon.in. Okay, now I have logged in and my delivery address is 1004. Okay, now if I go to amazon.com/USA, right, instead of in, if I go to .com/USA, then I will get the website of USA, right? If I want to see the website for India, I'll get the website. Here you can see I have Diwali sale going on, all this sort of things, but in USA I will not have Diwali, right? The Indians, it's Diwali is a mostly Indian festival. So based on routing, like the best example I can give you right now is Grok. So here I haven't logged into Grok. You can see this is a, like you can see this is the interface. If I haven't logged in, I'm seeing one site. If I logged in, I will get another site. So based on the logical path, I'm rendering different site, I'm routing different sites. So this is known as routing, and to perform routing we use Express. So here for routing we will learn Express. So let me write it, Express.js. So Express.js is used, let me put it here and drag this text here. Okay, so Express.js is used for routing. In this thing we will learn what is routing, how to perform routing. We will learn what is EJS if we are going with EJS, like embedded JavaScript. We will see all these different things here. Now whenever I'm getting signed in to my Gmail now, like to, you can see I have X login, Gmail login. When I click Google login, I'll get my account, and when I logged in, I'm rendering some other site. So when I'm like creating an account in Grok, what is happening? That data is getting stored in my database. So we have two different types of database. One is relational database, another one is non-relational database. In relational database we have SQL, and in SQL we are going to store data in the form of rows and columns. In non-relational database we are going to store data in the form of documents. And generally if you are a new developer, I would suggest you go with MongoDB because it is very easy to understand, easy to use. So for database, here let me draw another line. Okay, so for database we are gonna use MongoDB. Okay, let me expand this a little. I know this is very small. Okay, okay, this is good enough. Okay, MongoDB is the database which we are going to use. Okay, and it is a non-relational database. Now after completing this, now you will understand what is routing. We will understand what is routing, how routing works, and after that we'll understand how database and everything works. So after this we will learn authentication. We'll learn how to protect passport and all this sort of things. So here we'll learn about JWT tokens. JWT tokens. We will learn about passport.js. We will learn about session expiry, cookies, all this sort of things. So this thing is entirely based on Express. Most of the things, like we are gonna do this entirely with our Node. Okay, so this is about it. So till now you have studied about HTML, CSS, JavaScript and React.js, and this is the backend. This is the basic backend structure mostly we use for uh, production level, for real world application. But there are a lot of things, right? After completing this, now you will build a real stack good level application. Okay, now this is how mostly things work. Okay, this is the like roadmap of our full stack. Okay, I would say this is the full stack roadmap. This is good enough. If you learn these things now, you will become a good enough developer. You will become a good enough developer and you can build real-time applications and everything good enough. Now after this you want to host it, right? So for hosting, let me write it. We are gonna use AWS or Azure or Render or Vercel. We're gonna use these things, and also these are hosting platforms. Let me Control Z and delete these things. Control Z, Control Z, Control Z, Control Z. My bad. I should not write it here. Let me write it here. Okay, Azure, AWS, Render, these are hosting platforms. After developing your application, you will be hosting it, right? So for hosting, we'll use different applications, right? So these are different applications, and in our lectures, hopefully, we will see Render and AWS. I don't know much about Azure, but yeah, we'll see about AWS and these things. So these are our hosting applications. Let me expand this thing. Okay. I'll share it, this roadmap with you guys, no need to worry. So this is our hosting thing. Okay, so with this thing, you will learn front end, you will learn backend, you will learn hosting. Now, if you want to learn more about DevOps, you will go into Docker path, and in that you will learn about what is containerization, image, pulling image, pushing images, this thing. Now, after this, if you want to go into GenAI now, in that you will be learning about LangChain. You will be learning about uh, RAG application and different things. So this is the roadmap for full stack in my perspective. Okay, so this is pretty much it. After completing this entirely, we'll do a mini project, major project as well. So this is the introduction roadmap you need, and I will provide the entire, like for React, these are the videos, for Node, these are the videos in the description. Hopefully if you want to learn it right now, you can go and learn it. So this is pretty much it, and this is not the end for web development. There are a lot of things. Okay, so I hope you got a like good idea of how things work. So with that being said, I will see you in the next lecture of HTML and CSS. Bye.